Dune 2. What's there left for me to say about this movie that hasn't already been said? I mean, everyone's praising this movie, saying it's one of the best movies of all time, and how it's a 10 out of 10, and I went to a packed theater. I haven't seen that shit since Avengers Endgame. So, it's clear as day that people were hyped for this movie. Though I doubt any of them actually saw the first movie. They just wanted to see, big over the top action. And I thought that you didn't need to see well, you kind of do need to see the first movie, but you don't really need to. There's a whole character arc for Paul and a lot of the other characters in this movie. So, here's my dog right here. His name's Arthur. Oh, and the guest cameo, Clarice. Yeah. Anyway, so what's there? I don't really know what else to say about this movie that hasn't already been said, except for one thing. One thing. I don't know if it's the cynic in me. I don't know if I'm turning to YMS. I don't know if I'm just becoming the thing that I've always hated, a film snob. But it felt kind of predictable. It just, eh. Now there are things that I disagree with some other people with. Character deaths, I think, are handled well, especially all the villains. They don't feel, it feels like that's the way they would die, looking their enemies in the eyes, realizing that they failed. Let's see, what else? Disclaimer, I have not read the book. I mean, I have read the book, I read the opening after the first one came out, and then I just gave it up because I'm a Gen Zer. We barely read anything outside of goddamn Twitter posts, except I hate Twitter, and I don't use Twitter. I don't use any social media aside from YouTube. And even then, that's terrible. But, case in point, the story felt predictable, and I feel like it was relying too much on spectacle, at least towards the end. Let me explain. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, the second movie. How appropriate, because it turns out this isn't going to be a duology, it's going to be a trilogy. In the second movie with Helm's Deep, the battle is basically the entire third act, the final battle at Helm's Deep. It's the entire third act. This movie, the battle is kind of glossed over. I know that's a little bit of spoilers, but that's just how it is. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. The special effects are amazing, and you get the grand scale of things, and I understand that Dune is more about the politics of space rather than the battles, and we have plenty of great action scenes as well, but Also, one last thing. I feel like Columbo. One last thing. One more thing. One more thing. I think the relationship between Paul and what's her name? Johnny is predictable. I'm sorry. I know that people say realistic, but we don't really get to see their relationship truly develop, at least in the way that I wanted it to. Now, that's just me, and because of that, I realized something. Dune, the book itself, shouldn't really be a movie. It should be a series, a mini series, with a big budget, or hell, an animated series. Dune the animated series. That would be great. So, that's my controversial opinion on Dune. I make my mouth look like a worm when I say Dune. I'm saying in this thing a lot too. So yeah, fight me. I really do enjoy the movie. I'm not gonna give her a rating. I don't do ratings anymore. I think ratings are stupid. Why would you give a piece of art a number? You're deval you're putting a value on certain things. You're stripping it of its importance. Dune 1 and 2 are going to be incredibly important, much like the Lord of the Rings movies. Those really showed how not only can you do fantasy correctly, but you can do it in a very serious light. And of course, all those lessons are most likely going to be ignored by modern Hollywood writers to do their own politically fueled agenda thing, or just make a quick buck off of the hype around like big sci-fi epics or whatever. But until then, Dune isn't going to be incredibly important. It's going to be said thousands upon thousands of times over. So why should I give it a rating? It's like giving Lord of the Rings a rating. I can tell you why the Hobbit movies are bad, at least compared to um, the Lord of the Rings. But that doesn't mean they are not movies and they are not works of art. Some people enjoy the Hobbit movies. Some people think they're underrated. I can understand that. Same with the prequels to Star Wars. Even though I think they're equally as bad as the sequels. Fight me. So, that's my stupid opinions. I'm sure this is going to spark massive outrage. I'm going to get God knows how many views for my stupid takes, but whatever. Thank you.